between. So again, if they made love 2 or 3 times a week for the next 8 or 9 years, that made it about 800 more fucks. And probably, toward the end of their marriage, they didn't fuck at all. So I was guessing that she and my husband fucked about 2,000 times during their marriage. As for me and my husband, we were older, he was in his 40s. We fucked a lot the first year, and after that we fucked only once or twice a week, and usually only on Sunday mornings. I was told that she was musical. I was also told by the same person, a person who knew her quite well before her marriage, a fellow student, in fact, that she could have had a career as a concert pianist. She spent 2 years in Philadelphia studying at the Curtis Institute of Music, which has one of the most competitive and storied piano performance departments in the world. I remember how she said she would never forget studying with Eleanor Sokoloff and Seymour Lipkin, especially Seymour Lipkin, the same person who knew her quite well told me, and how Lipkin told her that as a pianist, she had a moral responsibility to the composer to play what the composer thought and felt, and not what she felt like playing. She told me she would never forget that. Funnily enough, the person said, I haven't forgotten that either. Once married, however, she gave it up. Did he dissuade her? I wondered. I have a career, but I am not a pianist or an artist. My career gives me some financial freedom. It gets me out of the house. But it is not all-consuming. If I had to give it up tomorrow, it would not matter much. I am not passionate about my work. I also could not help wondering if she resented him for making her give up her career, if that is what he did, or if that is what he, in his most charming and persuasive way, suggested. And did her resentment contribute to their getting divorced? My guess is that the reason they got divorced was not due entirely to her giving up the piano. I also have to say here that as far as music is concerned, I have a tin ear. She and I took lessons with Mrs. Sokoloff on her Bösendorfer, the fellow student who had known her added. Her what? A Bösendorfer piano has 97 keys instead of 88. The extra 9 keys are at the bass end of the keyboard, and on Mrs. Sokoloff's piano, they were hidden underneath a hinged panel mounted between the piano's conventional low A and the left-hand end cheek, so that you would not accidentally hit them. Now, instead of concealed by a panel, the extra keys are painted black to differentiate them from the standard 88. As for her children, a boy and a girl, we get along now. But when their father and I first married, I had worried. I was nervous. The boy, 13 at the time, seemed indifferent to me. The girl, slightly older, was hostile. Not having children of my own, I tried too hard to please them. I wanted them to like me, to love me, and I allowed them liberties that, in retrospect, I should not have. For instance, I never said anything when they did not make their beds or when they threw their wet towels on the floor in the bathroom. I also did not say anything when they left their dirty dishes for me to take to the sink and wash. As time passed, however, I relaxed and acted more honestly. I spoke my mind. I think they eventually understood that instead of trying to replace their mother, I was supporting her. Unfortunately, the boy got into drugs for a while. Looking back, I should perhaps have said something to him, but at the time, I did not want to interfere. Does your mother have a cat? I asked him once. High, his pupils dark and dilated, he laughed. Meow, meow. I asked his daughter the same thing. She had 2, Simone and Nelson. Unfortunately, Nelson, named for Nelson Algren, died last week. She's still very upset. Nelson Algren famously wrote, "Never sleep with a woman whose troubles are worse than your own." People, of course, took sides. A lot of them blamed my husband for the divorce, and some of them probably blamed me as well. But their blame was not justified. I had nothing to do with the divorce. Yes, it was true that I had met him while he was still married, but by then he and his wife were not getting along. In fact, as he later confessed to me, he and his wife had not had sex.